A word for our listeners. Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1920s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Join us each week as our investigators follow a path of clues and attempt to save the world from an ancient evil. Starring John Quiett, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, George Chimples, Jason Hall, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
George.
Hello.
Scott.
Hello.
Johnny.
Hi.
Justin.
Howdy.
Oh, forget names, that didn't help. And Matt, that's me. Before we get into the actual adventure, I want to say thank you to some of our Kickstarter sponsors who might or might not be at the table and might or might not correct what I'm pronouncing as I go. So we would like to thank George Bob Digi, Chimples, Scott Big Daddy T Troiano, woo! Or they might scream out, Shirley N. We'd like to thank God. When Nerds Collide, part of the Omega Nerds Network, Fidget Press, and John Graham, Philip Durham, Todd Jeffcoat, Brandon Black, Dave Sokolowski, Uncle Fast Eddie, Tyson Vick, James Sirius Buckhorn, and Game Paradise. Thank you one and all for supporting our Kickstarter and supporting us, and we look forward to rising to the occasion at Indie PopCon and being awesome.
If I could interrupt here for a second, I would like to say that if God is with us, who can be against us?
I apologize to any of our Christian listeners who might be shutting off the podcast now.
What? What? How would Christian listeners be against?
Why would
that?
they be offended by that?
Why? All right,
Seriously?
so
Okay,
we're
go ahead.
focused.
We are.
So last time, Scott, can you tell me where we were?
Hold on.
We're gonna kill Wentworth.
We
No.
We had gotten back from Old Cairo,
And then we're going to kill Wentworth.
where the guy was getting all of his cash and going to leave town, and we had come back. That's where we were.
No, you're close.
I was very.
You're not quite there. So you had gone to talk to Warren Bessart, who was the French. What did we call him? He was there. He was
agent of the Carlyles.
Yes, he was an agent of the
who
Carlyles.
bought artifacts with the Clive expedition.
He was an agent of the Carlyles who had seen some things. So if you remember the very last bit of our last episode.
Oh, he talked about when we were out. When he was out on the dunes and how all that craziness happened. And then he came back. Yeah, you're right. All right, I'm better now.
I
You
have
can
the
call me out.
answer.
It doesn't bother me in the least.
Because you are normally being a smart aleck right before we start recording.
Well,
And Scott is normally totally on task and focused right before recording.
Yeah.
really?
I think that's what he's trying to say. Sure.
Okay, so yes. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just totally missed the point.
So what are you guys doing? Where are you going from there? Do you want to ask some questions? Would you like me to reread the statement?
Reread the statement, please.
Yes. It's a little long. Just keep that in mind. Yes.
Go ahead.
So, Warren Bessart says in a halting, drug-addled speech, a lawyer contacted me. I agreed to act as purchasing agent for Mr. Roger Carlyle of the United States, who was represented to me as a wealthy American. On written instruction from Mr. Carlyle, I purchased certain artifacts from Faraz Najir, who's the guy you met last time, an antique dealer, and illegally shipped them out of Egypt to Sir Aubrey Pinhew in London. I know the artifacts were ancient, but nothing more. When the Carlyle expedition came to Egypt, I arranged for all their equipment and permits. Their main site was in Dashur, in the area of the Bent Pyramid. One day in Dashur, Jack Brady came to me and told me that Carlyle, Hypatia Masters, Sir Aubrey Pinhew, and Dr. Huston had entered the Bent Pyramid and vanished. Brady was excited and suspected foul play since the diggers had already fled the site and work had come to a standstill. We did not know what to do, so we drank. The next morning, Carlyle and the others reappeared. They were excited by the tremendous find. or by some tremendous find, but what it was they would not say, nor did I learn, for Sir Aubrey was a fiend for secrecy. All of them had it changed in some inexplicable way, and a way not for the better. I did not ask further. That evening an old Egyptian woman visited me. She said her son had been one of the diggers. She said the diggers had fled because Carlyle and the others had consorted with an ancient evil, the messenger of the Black Wind. She said that she could recognize that the souls of all the Europeans but Brady and myself were lost. If I wanted proof, I should go to the collapsed pyramid at Meedham at the time when the moon is slimmest, the night before the dark of the moon. Please, God help me, I went. I took one of the trucks pretending to leave for a night of pleasure in Cairo, but instead I drove 20 miles south to Meedham and secreted myself where she advised. There in the midnight blackness I saw Carlyle and the others disport themselves in obscene rituals with 100 madmen. The very desert came alive, crawling and undulating towards the ruins of the pyramid. To my horror, the stone ruins themselves became skeletal, bulging-eyed things. Strange creatures emerged from the sands, grasped the dancing celebrants, and one by one tore out their throats, killing all until only the Europeans and one other robed celebrant remained. Something more loomed out of the sand, the size of an elephant, but with 5 separate shaggy heads. Then I realized what it was, but it is madness to speak it. I saw it rise, and in a great ravening swallow, as one of all the torn corpses and their hideous murderers, leaving alive only 5 people amidst the stench of the blood-soaked sand. I fainted. When I recovered, I wandered into the desert. There, further horrors awaited me. Stumbling up a rise before dawn, I saw hundreds of dark phoenixes, rank upon rank, drawn up and waiting for the hour of madness when they will spring to devour the world. I fainted again, and this time I left the world for many months. A man found me. For 2 years he and his mother cared for me. Me, a man mindless, and returned. I came back to Cairo, but I began to dream. Only hashish helps me now, or opium if it can be found. Also, what Mr. Weld has given me, the laudanum.
Yes, I don't remember if it was me or Wentworth.
One of you, yeah. My supply is low again, and my life is intolerable without it. Will you gentlemen please contribute? Only strong drugs keep me from insanity. Everything, gentlemen, everything is lost. Lost. There is no hope for any of us. Everything, everywhere they wait. Perhaps you will join me for a pipe.
Can I do an occult roll on the multi-headed thing?
Sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you're all there. Yeah.
Brady, the bodyguard.
Yes.
Missed it by 4.
I pass.
It is nothing occult. You guys can all roll Cthulhu.
I thought I was supposed to. Am I supposed to have a cult or mythos? Because
You
I
have
read
mythos.
Alright. Wow.
I am 1 off. That helps out. So close. I believe I rolled 60.
Anybody else succeed? No. Okay. You're not familiar with the thing. But obviously it has driven Mr. Bassart quite mad. George, you probably studied enough of Egypt that you're familiar with the bent pyramid.
Okay.
As well as the collapsed pyramid. They're pretty. You couldn't find your way there, but you're familiar enough with them that they are 2 sites that have been marked to be kind of gone through at some point.
Have I ever been either of them?
No.
And my question is, so the bent pyramid is Dasher, whatever that is.
Dasher, yeah.
Is there a site name or
Medium, MEIDUM.
Oh, Medim. Right. Okay. I will join him for a pipe.
You guys have any questions for him?
I will join him.
That's fine. Yeah, he doesn't. His supplies are low. Did you bring?
What is he wanting to smoke?
Hashish or opium?
Any questions?
Has he heard any rumors of what happened to the Carlisle expedition after he followed them into the desert?
No, I have heard since I came back, but I was gone for nearly 2 years. Just that they were killed.
Is there any chance that the thing that we saw that night happened on the night they were supposedly murdered?
No.
That wasn't the
No, it's not.
thing.
No.
Oh, right, because they were in the further south.
Kenya.
of Africa.
Kenya, yeah.
What phase is the moon currently in? Is it anywhere near this display of?
Yeah, that's within a couple of days.
Do you know of any reason why the Carlyles would go to Kenya?
If they felt like that was part of what they needed to do. The rumors say that they went there for time off.
What do you mean by time off?
Well, you know, sometimes working out in the desert is hard. You just need to relax.
So you weren't aware of their itinerary?
No, I helped them at the pyramid at Dashur, and then that night at the collapsed pyramid was the last time I saw them. And after they came out of the pyramid, they didn't speak to me about anything that was going on.
So they seem to change to you.
Absolutely.
How?
I've been with other digs, and when you find something, you get excited. There's excitement in the air. They had that, but they had nothing to show for it. And there was some unease to them.
But they hadn't pulled anything out. They're empty-handed.
As far as I could tell, yes.
Have there been any other digs in the vicinity?
No, not since the Carlisle expedition. The pyramid has been left alone since then.
Why?
No one's been willing to fund it.
And before they went in, did you notice any strangeness about them?
No, other than not about them specifically, no.
Do you think we should go to Dashur or Medim?
I wouldn't know. That's me.
Perhaps we're right.
I feel like I had something I wanted to ask him last time, but we haven't recorded for a while, so it's always evaded my memory.
Can we do an idea roll to see if there's anything else we should ask him about?
Sure.
I pass.
Give me a second.
Sure.
You could ask about the family that took care, or the woman, the mother of the digger, where she's at. You could also ask about the family that took care of it.
Oh, it wasn't the guy.
It was a totally different family. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, those are definitely two questions. Because they might be able to shed some more light. What can you tell us about the woman who warned you?
If she still lives where she did, I can give you directions to her home. It's been years since I've seen her, though.
Would there be a good way to introduce ourselves that would not alarm her?
I'm sure that if you explain that you're looking into what happened with the Carlisle expedition, she'd be at least somewhat willing to talk to you.
Was her son was one of the ones who left the Carlisle expedition?
Yes.
So he got out of it okay? As far as I know.
He was hurt. Sorry, I'm trying to find his information, and for some reason it's not coming up where I thought it should be. He was hurt. I believe he was badly burned.
How? Accident.
She never said. Something better to not speak of.
And these people who took you in, who were they?
Just friendly people out in the desert. People that I was lucky found me. I can give you directions to there.
Yeah, perhaps they remember something from your time of incoherence that would help us out.
So, Nieti, N-Y-I-T-I, of Elawasta, is the woman who warned him away.
One more time with this story.
N-Y-I-T-I.
Okay, and how are we pronouncing that?
Nieti. Yeah, that's as good as it gets, I guess. Anything else, guys?
This is note taking land.
I'll edit out this long pause. I won't edit out me talking about it. That long pause, but I'll leave that long pause. Which ironically, I'll probably leave in there, and then the listeners will be like, "Oh, that long pause."
Yeah, I can't think of anything else since he's so incoherent for so long. I missed
The core
stuff.
So, it's probably getting towards dinner. Probably be a good time to go back to the
We gotta go eat.
hotel.
Stew.
Egyptian food.
Okay. Curry. As we walk back to the hotel, I'll say, so we should probably go to Dashur and Madim, yes? No?
I want to talk to Niedzwiecki
Oh, yes. We can do that first.
and see what she has to say, because if there's nothing there anymore,
We're
if
not
they
going.
took it with them.
We're not going to take that poor man.
No, we should leave him to his
Sark can stay where he is.
dreaming.
Fair enough.
I mean, he gave us directions. He didn't actually say
Yeah.
what those were. How far, where were we looking?
Nieti is a few hours up the Nile, which is south.
Yeah.
Down the Nile, but up.
So which is closer? The people
Equidistant?
No, I don't know.
Sorry, what?
She was asking which one's closer, the Dashur
Yeah,
or... There's also the Clive expedition you guys can look into if you remember correctly. Something was stolen from there a couple of nights ago.
Yes, that's what I want to do is get out a map and look at distances of where all this stuff is so I get an idea of
Let's see if I can actually find a map that the book provides. I don't know that it does. But I can be vague in my terms. Yeah, that's not helpful at all. Because I can't read it.
Do you want me to read it?
Oh, okay. So, it looks like Cairo is here. So
which would be
kind
to
of,
the north, wasn't it?
yeah, it's kind of, Cairo's about halfway between the Mediterranean Sea and Elwasta. Medium is almost at Elwasta. I'm not seeing Dashur though. Not on that map. Maybe it's down here. It's Dashur. So Dashur is probably like here, near Memphis.
Memphis.
If I'm looking correctly. Yeah, ruins of Memphis is here.
Yeah, Memphis.
Dashur is just south of that. So actually, Dashur would be the first one you come to, then Medum, and then Elwasta, all going up the Nile.
And what was that Elwasta? That's where Nieti lives?
Nieti, yeah.
Who was the woman
Whose son was a worker
Okay.
who warned the Sark.
And where's the Clive expedition?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me go find it. Where they're at? They're at the Clive expedition site.
Oh, really? What? What side it is?
Memphis.
He's in Memphis.
Can everyone give me a knowledge roll? Actually, I'm sorry. Can the two people with high credit rating give me a knowledge roll? It's kind of a society thing.
Yep.
Okay. The Climb Expedition, they might be funded by the Pinview Foundation.
Yay? So we should probably go there and just like burn down everything they got.
Oh yes.
Well,
So
isn't
I
that
take it you guys
interesting?
have problems with it?
Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't in character. I should have made that clear.
Oh.
The response was in character.
Yes, most certainly.
Yeah.
We should wipe our arse on the curtains and then burn the place to the ground.
Is that your maneuver now?
The Wentworth maneuver. So, where would you guys like
mean
Captain Wilkerson.
Wilkerson maneuver?
Wilkerson.
Where would you guys like to go?
Give him the
was
full
where
Wilkerson.
the thing with all the eyeballs happened there, right?
The heads?
Yes.
Yes. No. That was at the collapse pyramid.
It was a collapse pyramid.
They went into the bent pyramid and found something. Then they went to the collapse pyramid is where all the stuff came alive and ripped people apart.
Okay. I don't know a lot about the occult, but it seems like they might be planning on something at the same time at the same location. We might want to try to stop that from happening.
Oh yes.
Why? Wait, who would be?
The Clives. They're in the vicinity.
Further south than. We just looking at the map. We have to go. They're in Memphis, which is south of the two places, right?
No, that's actually Memphis is on the way to the other places.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Memphis, then Dashur, then Needham, then Awasta.
Oh, I was not seeing where you
Yeah.
were pointing at. Apparently.
No, that's okay. Sorry.
I was struck blind by Cthulhu. So yeah, then let's go see if everything's in line. Go see the lady.
She's the last one.
Oh, so she's
She's further south, yes.
Well, the Clive expedition is first.
Clive Expeditions at Memphis. Dashur is just south of that, then Needham, and then Awasta.
Okay.
Which is where the lady
Say it
is.
like so it's
So
Clive.
Clive bent, collapsed,
Yeah.
neon, whatever.
Deity.
But yeah, that makes sense. So I don't want to go to the bent and collapsed pyramid unless there's a actual reason to go there.
Well, it's on the way. It shouldn't take too long. But I think that
I don't
Isn't
want
there
to.
stuff there that we need to check out? It sounds
I
like we
bet-
should take a look around.
They took everything.
Aren't you an investigator?
Right. So
You're an investigator?
yeah.
Let's take a break real quick. I apologize. So, it was made clear to me in the rules quite recently that people who have suffered a short stint of insanity, such as Mr. Byrne and Captain Wilkerson, actually have
Jason's hearing spirits,
their
right?
Cthulhu mythos raised.
Oh, how many points do
You actually both get 5 more points
Temporarily.
permanently.
Okay.
If it happens,
What if that happened to you repeatedly?
if it happens a second time, you only get 1 more point each time. So first time 5, every other time is 1. And I think the 2 of you are the only ones that have suffered from that. That is not a pencil, Scott.
There's
So
not a pencil.
there you go.
So
So
is that also subtracting the permanence?
yep, it does.
5 more points.
Yeah. So Scott, you I believe had the initial and then 1 other, right?
That is correct.
So you will get 6 total.
Then I made my Cthulhu mythos about the roll with.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the 5-headed monster. I should have said something earlier, but I forgot.
Keep going.
is it like a cool monster like Gamera? Like we think it'll help us?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the smog monster from it flies up on the pipe and gets bigger.
That sounds bad. I want one that's like friendly to children and stuff.
Oh.
Mothra? Mothra spreads LSD everywhere. That's cool.
The 2 little women.
Yeah.
They freak me out.
Yeah, they
I don't
do.
know what that is. What's going on? with
Because
that?
part of you is like, ooh, twins. We could just, and then they're like an inch and a half tall.
What? It's also like Godzilla is this, and we can talk about this because Matt's looking something up. So we'll
Matt has an answer now.
You do?
Oh.
Sorry,
Matt-
no
Matt-
Godzilla, guys.
Matt is a killjoy. Go ahead.
What the thing that was described is called the Black Sphinx. It is a terrible, terrible monster.
Aren't they all?
Yeah, its faces, the faces on it. It has 5 heads. Its faces are like 70 feet across. This thing is size 350.
Hold on. Like,
Oh, nice.
how is that?
So
a
he
sphinx?
didn't describe the size of this thing to us when he was
No,
describing
it was like an elephantine with 5 heads
70 feet across?
each.
each head.
Yeah, man,
That's not an elephant.
How far away was he?
Yeah.
Far enough. Its eyeless forehead and myriad of maws placed asymmetrically in an oval face. I guess it's just one face. He may have,
Flipped
missed.
out.
Yeah. It is terrible. Like, I'm reading this, it's kind of creeping me out.
We'll
So
share with our listeners.
Yeah, read it out loud.
it
Because
was,
I'm going to explain. Oh yes, by the way, I saw this in a
it was
Nightmare Rice Krispie treat the other day.
It was something quite ponderous, even as seen from my height, something yellowish and hairy, and endowed with a sort of nervous motion. It was as large, perhaps, as a good-sized hippopotamus. That doesn't seem right.
70 feet across. It's not
Yeah, I don't know what that's. Yeah, that's not right.
proportioned like a hippopotamus. Like yeah.
Well, this is what H.P. Lovecraft wrote, so that's what I'm reading.
Okay.
So, but very curiously shaped. It seemed to have no neck, but 5 separate heads springing in a row, because it has 5 heads, from a roughly cylindrical trunk. The first very small, the second good size, third and fourth equal and largest of all, and the fifth rather small, though not so much as the first. Out of these head darted curious, rigid tentacles, which seized ravenously on the excessively great quantities of innumerable food placed before the aperture. Once in a while, the thing would leap up, and occasionally it would retreat into its den in a very odd manner. Its locomotion was so inexplicable that I stared in fascination, wishing it would emerge further from the cavernous lair beneath me. Then it did emerge, the great Sphinx. What huge and loathsome abnormalities with the Sphinx originally carven to represent. That 5-headed monster, as large as a hippopotamus, probably bigger, and that of which it is the merest forepaw. So it is this very large, nasty 5-headed creature whose heads are different sizes.
That have tentacles protruding from shapes out of the side of their face. And
Yeah,
I was confused about the relative size of the heads. So could you please read that part again?
Okay, yeah, sure. The first, very small. The second, good sized. The size is good.
Okay.
Third and fourth, equal and largest of all. And then the fifth was rather small, but not nearly as small as the first one. This is like one of those math problems.
right.
The first number is bigger than the third number, but not nearly as big as the second number. What is the third number? I don't know. So, it's this nasty, terrible creature.
It's a hippopotamus-shaped 5-head anteater with giant tongues that look.
No, except it doesn't have a snout
No, doesn't
and
have
has no eyelids.
Yeah. That would. Yeah.
This
no
guy's
eyelids.
just staring at me now. No eyelids.
Eyelids, I've seen that. Those are helpful. It works.
So,
Yeah, but not on 5 different faces
No.
with eyes and different. With the fifth being smaller,
But
being,
not so
being small.
Yes, when
but
you
not
take
so
the creature
small
as
as the-
whole, it is disturbing. But when you just go, oh, it didn't have eyelids.
so where are you guys headed first?
Not there.
Well, I mean, we went to the hotel.
Right,
Yeah,
you're
we're
at the
going to get
hotel.
dinner to
You
eat
guys go
first.
sit down. Of course, Mr. Wentworth, or
Vindaloo.
Professor Wentworth disappears again because, he's too good to eat dinner with you.
I go check up on him.
Haha.
Would it be bad form to now talk about him?
No, go ahead.
Okay, good. So, Professor Wentworth seems to be disappearing more and more.
He's very involved in his studies.
Well, but my only question is as we get more involved with individuals who have been touched, such as the gentleman who just spoke with, I'm concerned that as we delve closer and closer to these monstrosities, that they may be taking a larger toll than we had anticipated on him, especially if he were to retreat to his room more and more often. the best way to keep the pulse on anyone that's been exposed to these is regular interaction.
Well, I have been keeping track, because I feel if we treat him with too much suspicion, he will withdraw even further. That is his nature. He's not a social man.
He's just gonna keep doing his Ouija thing, and we're all gonna end up doing.
Al's doing Ouija things?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, you weren't around for that.
Oh.
He's a wizard now, of quite some power.
Which seems to be somewhat disturbing to a small point.
And I can tell you.
Did he tell you he was a wizard? Because he kind of boasts a little bit sometimes?
No, he shot a ray of death at a werewolf.
Yes, quite.
Oh, a werewolf?
It was awful.
They're clearly making fun of you.
Yeah, I have to make that's...
No, there was a large slavering beast brought
Look,
about by the
I
light of the
told
moon.
you
I'm
saw
going to roll
him.
persuade.
Oh, sure, yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're clearly making
My
fun of you.
persuade's terrible anyways.
You don't believe me?
Nope.
How do you
I'm
think
going to-
Monticello died?
I'm going to persuade him with a cogent,
Yeah, now I know you're lying. Al wouldn't kill
solid
anybody.
English argument Whoops, read it backward.
Nope.
Out. Like, well, obviously, the light of the moon brought about this
Mr.
beast.
What is your name, sir?
Mr. Cooper.
Cooper.
Frank.
Who is Al?
Al?
Al Franken.
Al's the one who just went upstairs.
Professor Wentworth.
You and I are gonna have to have a little talk.
I will accept that at any time.
No.
You want to go right now?
No.
Mr. Cooper, are...
He did kill that girl.
Kill the girl?
And the priest.
And a werewolf.
There was no. He didn't kill a priest.
You shot him in the face,
He
didn't
just said priest, going with it.
Oh, that. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah, when you shot the guy in the face from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought you meant the druid.
not the druid,
No,
the
no.
priest.
The cultist priest.
See, this doesn't sound like Al
And-
at all. Al wouldn't kill anybody.
He does not.
He's
And one of the
He's a
creatures on the
jerk,
boat.
but-
Yes. He would not have killed before he... Our experiences have changed us, Mr. Cooper. There are many things that we all have done that I don't think we would have thought we would do before.
3 of us assembled here have attended in the Great War. Yet from our gathering in New York, I would have to say, and it startles me to say this, that I believe Professor Wentworth has the largest total of deaths amongst us. He has killed more than any of us here. I mean, from when we met forward.
Oh, yes.
Call it what you will.
And called us the most insane. To
Quite.
start
I
with.
had not looked at it from that standpoint before. I find that somewhat startling.
Oh, now you see. I'm glad you made up your mind on your own.
So, do you guys conspire against yourselves often, or is this just something you reserve to Al?
No, and we are not conspiring. He's aware that we have had questions about his philosophies and actions.
What is Miss McCrea wearing currently? What are you dressed in?
Oh.
Like 5 pairs of socks.
Our premium listeners would have
She's
heard that.
probably gotten rid of the coat, but still has the hat and the rougher shirt and pants on.
Oh,
Yeah, where
Pants?
did we come from? I mean, where we met? We just got the boat, right?
No, you've had a whole night.
Oh yeah,
No,
I'm
we
back
went
to
in-
my
Well, I apologize, Miss McCrea.
shirt and my
Had perhaps you been dressed as a lady, I would have taken your ladylike opinions more to heart. As opposed to having to decide on my own. If you dress like a man, then your opinions may or may not be counted as one.
Well, if they did, then you would have known by now.
Would have known what specifically? Spell it out.
Everything that I spoke with you about on the boat.
Mr. Cooper was not privy to these conversations. Please enlighten us again.
Okay. So, as Mr. Wentworth has studied the things that he has been studying,
These
and
dark
as
arts.
we've been going through our quote-unquote adventures, he has slowly changed into a person that he was not when we first met him. And as Captain Wilkerson said, he did kill a bunch of people, which is not in his, nature, right? Is that correct, Mr. Cooper?
Frank. And he's never killed anybody I've known of.
Well,
But now you're talking about wizards and werewolves and...
Well, these are all...
and to top it off, sorry there, Weldy. And to top it off,
Why did you wait
he's
until he
wearing-
went off on his own to talk about him behind his back? Why did we...
because we can't talk about him behind his back in front of him.
You do have a certain logic there.
And he cost us the life of one of our adventurers.
He killed one of
No, his
His
lust
traveling?
for power drove him to not help someone that was injured.
Well, lust of power does sound like Al, but I still don't think he would abandon a friend in need if he could aid said friend.
He did. And it was for something that he was not thinking logically about. And
That really
let
doesn't
that
sound like him,
gentleman
Al.
die.
Al always thinks logically, even if it's as cold as possible.
Mm.
And not all of us have missed McCrea's conviction on that point, but I think we do all agree that he has changed, and some of his actions have been controversial. He is aware of that. He knows that we don't agree with everything that he's done, and he's very steadfast in his opinion of his own behavior. So nothing we're saying is nothing he hasn't heard from us directly.
So I've seen him armed. That seems different.
Well, he
I'll
knows
grant you that.
he knows what we face now.
You've seen him richly armed, have you not?
Yes.
Not just with a sidearm.
No. He seemed a lot more
What was the phrase he used when he saw our armament?
aggressive.
Well, he said we were insane.
Yes, he said we were gun-toting psychopaths.
Yes.
And now he's armed more to the teeth than any of us.
So, if that will give any credence to our opinions, to the truth of what we've been telling you, perhaps that will give you some thought to chew on. In any event, we occasionally have to discuss each other and keep tabs on each other should any one of us become lustful of these dark powers we've witnessed.
Which is probably up there studying right now.
Possibly. When I've worked alongside him on some of the things he is researching, which seem to be of a protective nature, which seem to be a benefit to the party. And when I was with him earlier, when he wished to be alone, it was for a treatment for medical condition. It was not anything out of the ordinary. So I've seen nothing in his movements away from us that indicates that he is doing anything bad. And I fear if we are too suspicious, once again, he's not the most social of individuals, even before all of this. And if we do not treat him with a proper, how shall I say, gentleness, perhaps without the support of us, he will find solace in books and scrolls and things in which he should perhaps not look at. True.
But I merely wanted to bring it to the forefront that it must be discussed.
Yes.
He becomes more and more secluded, and that might not work in his favor.
Absolutely. And Mr. Cooper, it's something that you should also be aware of. Right. Should you see, you'll probably see us do some strange things, and I think that perhaps you shall do some strange things before all is said and done. But should you see anything that one of us is doing that seems bad, perhaps we should tell someone else as well. We must all keep tabs on each other.
Do you have any proof of these corrupting things?
Oh, yes.
Don't put the mask on him.
No, I wasn't going to.
What
I
mask?
merely answered the question. Yes, we do.
Well, there's a mask, you see, and when you put it on, you go crazy.
Yes.
And your mind opens to the realities of the universe that you should not know.
I wouldn't know about this part because I'm not crazy like these
Oh, I haven't worn it.
gentlemen.
Do you have anything less
No,
insane?
there is no less. the description of the dark fiend, the dark sphinx,
The Black Sphinx.
the black sphinx that we described earlier, that tore this man's mind asunder. No, there are no less crazy. It is, oops, you've passed the point of crazy, and there we are.
Are you a man well versed in fisticuffs, sir?
Not overly.
Are you a reading man?
I've read a few things.
Should we have him read one of the books?
I should say not.
Yes, best keep your mind while you still have it then. Well, what shall we be doing next? For the Clive expedition?
This soup
Sounds
is
like
really nice.
It's good soup?
Good soup.
It is, yeah.
Completely out of game. What was I actually paid to do? Show them around
You're a
Cairo
guide.
or here or while they're in the continent?
Ever.
Well, they're in Egypt.
Forever.
You belong to us now.
So you guys, it's getting towards evening. Leaving now would be a bad idea. You'd be traveling at night.
Yes.
So I assume you guys will be out.
No, I just want a group consensus. Do people think we should go check out the Clives?
Yes.
And then I want to talk how, in character, how shall we approach them if we present ourselves as who we are?
Well, what are the chances that they've gotten word from Opinion Foundation? So, I mean, I guess, how long were we in?
3 days.
No. Dealing with Eloise?
Yes.
No, I'm pretty sure I was in with Bedrick.
I was going to say, I was
You
2 weeks
asked
in
how
bed.
long you were in there, and in Kent you were like 2 weeks. After that, and then another week. So 3 weeks, 3 days.
So enough time to get word.
Enough
I
time
had to
to
wear
get
a
word.
dress.
So yeah, we should
Or
not present ourselves as who we truly are.
Well, we do have one individual who is not connected to our group.
Well, yes, Frank. Yes.
Frank.
Oh, I know. I did this skit one time in New York City, and
Oh, you're an actress?
yes, I spent some time on the
Stage.
stage.
That's actually not her real accent.
What do you mean? This is not my real accent.
Well, occasionally you speak with a British accent.
Occasionally.
Yes.
We thought that when you were hiding, trying to pull the American
No,
camera.
this is real. My British accent is something that I've used on stage before. This is the real me.
You can do a British accent?
I say, chap. No, not really. But anyway, as I was saying, we go as Tom and Larry, and Larry's brother Daryl. But
Maybe the other brother Daryl.
and no, Frank can be Frank. Frank is fine.
I'm always Frank.
But Daryl, John,
Yeah.
and you would have to play a simple man with a very simple mind. Would that be feasible for you?
Well, I've seen
We're to present ourselves as imbeciles to this
No.
archaeological expedition.
No. We are looking for some artifact with some healing powers for our friend.
To heal our friend's mind.
Yes.
Interesting.
I was just hired to show you guys around. This sounds like it's going to be a little extra.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Wilkerson, Captain Wilkerson, can help you out there. This sounds like a good idea, yes? No?
What did you have in mind?
I was just hoping for a little extra money.
What did you have in mind?
Let's start the
Slip him like $5.
like a hotel. Right?
50?
Interesting. When we were at your abode, it seemed somewhat apparent to me that you spend a good portion, or at least some modicum of your time as both as either a charlatan or a huckster, or perhaps both. Now, we are only asking for meager attendance above and beyond your guide capacities. While you may attempt to ladle gravy from other people's dishes, ours would not be one that would tender such behavior. Care to quote me a different number?
Frank, it's not nice to fool us like that.
Fool you. They appeared. I know who he is. That is a small change in his. I know his family.
All
25.
I'm doing-
15.
20.
Done.
I'm in.
Frank, just be you. And are you alright with this?
I don't understand. I guess I don't understand the point.
That's
of the
it,
scene.
right there. You don't understand.
I mean,
Because if we present ourselves as Captain Wilkerson, Courtney, Hathaway, Weld of the Cambridge
No.
Wells in Byrne, and
I agree to a name change.
yes,
Possibly even, some minor physical changes. I've done that to crack cases. What I'm getting at is, why do I need to act as simpleton? Why don't we just present ourselves
We
as
have to have a reason
What-
to get
what-
the artifact
What Eva is
What
presenting
artifact?
here.
of whatever we're going to go talk to the clients about. It's an information ploy.
right?
Aren't you an
Do we-
investigator?
what are we hoping to get from the Clive expedition exactly?
What are we hoping to get from the Priveleged expedition?
to find out what they're up to, if they're involved
Right.
in any darkness and
So,
wickedness.
so again,
We
we
want to
go.
see if they continue Mr. Gavigan's proclivities, such as we found when Mr. Wentworth drove several of them down, shot one of them in the face, and then drove us out with one of the vehicles.
You remember when they tried to sacrifice Byrne
Oh!
to that thing in the sky?
So we wish to see if the Clive organization continues these proclivities here, closer to the seat
Does my
seed
contract have an escape clause? No.
of the evil that we believe they worship.
So again, the point we could just.
You should have held out for 45 at
I
least.
should have. I will next.
That was the object lesson.
I mean, I get 35 a day. So, every day.
Don't discuss your wages.
He owes you for 38 days, by
I
the
don't
way.
know. I'm keeping track.
You're never going to see that money.
You gotta keep
No,
me alive.
I'm dead,
Yeah.
One of us is going to end up dead, I'm sure. Anyway, so we present ourselves as another expedition who is not, this will require some fast talking on an educated person's part. Yes, Captain. of course.
Certainly.
We present ourselves as another expedition. We politely inquire as to what they are doing and give ourselves a non-competitive goal so that we can be chummy with them and maybe make camp for a night or two. Or make,
And we could have our current guide through the city
of course,
begin those discussions.
it's
And
exactly.
I suppose I
Yeah,
could
then-
wear a dress so they didn't recognize me.
Yes, they'd never see you coming if you were dressed properly.
This is proper attire.
No, for a lady.
Where am I going to put my guns?
Your bodice.
She kind of taps her shirt a little bit.
So, is that a satisfactory plan then?
Yes, what role shall we fulfill, though? I feel we should outline that first.
Well, money.
Yes.
Courtney Wilkerson, you are funding the project. Miss McCrea, I'm thinking
Ladies hardly ever travel alone. She should be attached
Well,
to somebody.
I was looking at Captain Wilkerson for a moment. I don't think that would be believable. So perhaps you
Why?
and
Is he
Courtney.
too old?
No, I just don't think you guys could pretend to like each other long enough.
I hear she's got.
Again, if she could dress properly and perhaps
Point.
say
Case in
smile
point.
and-
I hear she's got an English accent also, so this could work out well.
My
I'd
again,
have to practice that a little bit.
You're an American. Courtney is an American. It works.
Dress like an English lady.
But it would be easier if you didn't have to pretend as much. You present some portion of reality, and then they believe the lies.
Have you not seen any of my shows?
I've seen a few, but
Am I not good?
when you're shooting, you're great.
The less you
Not
lie,
so
the
much
better
when
you
I
lie.
open my mouth.
I didn't say that. But the point is, if you present yourself with as close to as you truly are, the lies become more believable.
Well, then that means I should be with Courtney.
That's yes. And then I will.
Because he's an American too.
That's yeah.
Did you pick me up in the West, or did I find you? I could have lassoed you.
I shall be a man from San Francisco who made his money in the shipping, and I found you in my travels on the way westward because I come from Chicago.
Well, hopefully not American. 5 expedition. And I'll be hired muscle to carry the bags, and Frank will be our guide. And Professor Wentworth.
Yay,
be-
I've been found.
Or you could be Fromer. Sounds like Chicago.
So what names are we using? Eva, what name do you want?
Courtney named me. He found me.
You shall be Celeste Gimbleton of Tombstone, Arizona.
Celeste Gimbleton of
Gimbleton.
Tombstone, Arizona.
Does that make you Mr. Gimbleton?
Are we married? We must find rings.
Oh no, I thought this was a courting process.
Yes. This is our pre-honeymoon.
You take me on an expedition as part of the
Perhaps Professor Wentworth would take the role of her uncle and chaperone.
Yes, that sounds delightful.
Appropriate.
Courtney, what would your name be?
My name will
Or should you name him since he named you?
Celeste
Gimbleton.
Gimbleton. Gimbleton.
And Wentworth will, of course, be a Gimbleton as well.
Yes. She shall be Fosworth Gimbleton.
Is that a name used in Arizona?
Well, it came from elsewhere.
Okay.
So what's his name?
Fosworth.
Fosworth
Fosworth
Gimbleton.
Gimbleton.
Bosworth.
That sounds like a
Gimbleton.
perfectly American name to you, Captain.
Yes, Fosworth Gimbleton. Of course it is. The Arizona Gimbletons. Obviously how this works. And Miss, what was that person's name?
Celeste.
Celeste Gimbleton, obviously.
You're a professional dick, right? This ain't gonna work, is it?
Of the Arizona
It's like
Gimbletons.
this.
Not, but
Of course it will.
We
perhaps
can pull this off.
after we sleep on it, it might, settle in and lose its absurdity.
So we got Celeste and Fosworth Gimbleton, and you would be?
Zoltan Meschlik.
No.
I've been to Chicago and there are Polish people there. That's what their names sound like.
You're trying to keep a
Quite.
low profile here, Courtney.
And again, these are American names to me. I'm like, yes, they're Polish people in
Try
America.
again.
My name is John Smith.
That works.
It does work.
Better than Zoltan.
You should really try getting out of
New York City.
the East Coast once in a while.
And you are?
Zoltan. Clearly, he denied it because he wanted it.
What is your role in our expedition?
He's the guy that
I was
carries
just
them.
going to be the muscle and carry the bags.
Oh.
I mean, unless you can think of something else.
You
I
look like a
could
bag
be-
carrier.
I could be an additional chaperone and be Celeste's brother, except for accents. Don't really.
How many
I
Gimbletons
don't
are there in
think
this
you-
expedition? This is the Gimbleton expedition.
Well, no, it's the
No.
Smith expedition.
Smith expedition. There's courting young Miss Gimbleton.
Wait, where did you get your money from?
Shipping.
Shipping.
I said that already.
Cargo, young lady.
So, about names.
Um,
Do you want to be a Gimbleton?
So I don't get a
No.
practice my English accent. I'm very sad.
The Gimbletons from Arizona are not English, young lady. Obviously.
My name is Celeste. Thank you very much.
Yes, but your father, Farnsworth, would obviously know that.
I will go by Ben Anderson. Benjamin Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Yep. And Captain.
We have his name.
Yes.
What was
Farnsworth.
No, that was Professor.
Professor Wentworth.
Oh.
He's going.
Okay.
It's Bosworth Gimbleton is going to be Celeste Gimbleton's uncle. So the British accent doesn't really go with that. So, Captain, who would you like to be?
My uncle's really smart.
He is
Doesn't matter.
perhaps a lesser known son of a different rich family. Were there any other parallel, like what?
Lord.
Well,
I could be.
I would say a peer to your father's, to your family name.
I could be sixth cousin of Edward Montague. One of my cousins from off several lines out.
There you go. Possibly
Seventh Earl of Sandwich.
possibly known, but not famous.
Oh, yes, what?
Excellent. Sounds like we have our script.
What could possibly go wrong?
Guess I
You
should
need
go
to
get
be
my
yourself.
dress.
I shall be named Colby Flood.
So,
I don't think you can change your name. We've already got you down to John Smith.
Well, that was clearly a joke.
you're not writing any of this now.
I'm gonna be Celeste Flood.
Once we are wed, yes, you shall be Celeste Flood.
It could be worse. It could be Julian Julia.
And the Floods are a very famous San Franciscan family. Very wealthy.
What's the first name again?
Colby.
Colby.
My understanding that there was a fire in San Francisco in 1904 and another in 1910, put out primarily by the Floods. Saved their shipping consignments for
Yes.
True.
And that will do us tonight for Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Join us next week when we put this awesome plan into play. Good night. You can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter, and
T-shirts.
shirts over at slashloot.com. We'll talk to you guys real soon.
This has been a production of the Omega Nerds Network, the network where it's on.